Hello, if you're new to this channel, I'm John. One thing you need to know, when it comes to bookstores, I'm a wreck. I kinda have an impulse reading problem. I can't wait until I finish one book to pick up the next. Yeesh. I see a book, it piques my interest, and then I said, John, you should read this book. Do I consider I have 5 books I'm already currently reading? No. I'm gonna discuss the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books I'm currently reading. I also have another one called House Rules by Jodi Picoult. It's about an autistic teen who is a suspect for a murder. It's really good, but I am focusing on other books, so maybe that's a book for another video, but it's good so far. The main books I'm reading starts with Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. This is actually the international new cover. The books, I like them better than the American publication covers, and this is my first foray into high fantasy in a while. Fantasy in general. My first memories of reading was my dad reading fantasy to me. The first book I remember he read to me and my twin sister Titi was Lord of the Rings. After that, he read to us Harry Potter, and then we went on to Percy Jackson, and then it just kind of petered out because we were able to read on our own as we got older, and we just grew out of that phase. I took a long break from fantasy until now, when I picked up this novel, this 1,000 plus page novel. The other part of the book is downstairs. This is the second part of the book. It's so long, it's split into 2 volumes. Yeah, Impulse Fire. I love this book. It manages to be epic and extremely intimate all at once. I love all the main characters. We follow Kalinar, a soldier who gets enslaved and is working for the army he was once a part of because of circumstances I won't get into because of spoilers. He has to band together with his other slaves. I'll just say this, Bridge 4 is the greatest of all time, the GOAT, if you will. The other characters are Shallan, a scholar who wants to be the ward of the academic called Jasna, and we get Dalinar, who is the king's uncle. The world is called Roshar, but the kingdom we're dealing with here is Alethkar. I like this. I'm glad I picked up fantasy, and I hope to be reading more and more fantasy. Stephen King's The Dark Tower. I might have mentioned it in my review for Pet Sematary. I liked it so much, I decided to pick up this for my second foray into Stephen King. It's technically labeled fantasy, but I think of it as anti-fantasy. It has people with heads of crows. It's set in the Western themed. It kinda reminds me of the aesthetic of the TV show Firefly. Not the same plot at all, but the mixing of sci-fi fantasy and western, it's kind of the same vibe. I'm sometimes taken aback by how Stephen King writes about his characters. This is one of his earliest works, and in the introduction he says, I view back on it as a work of an amateur writer. Once I think about liked it. I really like the writing style here, even though it's sometimes confusing and he doesn't make all his sentences really clear. I just finished the first section and starting the second section. The first section has a unique structure that I wasn't expecting. And I liked, but I like kind of weird stuff. So if you like alternative books, pick up The Dog Tower. My third book I want to talk about is Fates and Furies. This is a book by Lauren Groff. She is a highly acclaimed author of short story collections. I have her short story collection, Florida, on my shelf. This chronicles a marriage. Starts off like the idyllic young couple. He comes from a wealthy, rich, well-to-do family, and she is kind of like the mysterious, I don't want to say manic pixie dream girl, because she's not, she's far more well realized like that, but she almost in public presents herself that way. As it gets into the marriage and the darker, more complicated side of these two people's relationship, it gets more fascinating. The first section is from the husband's, Lodo's perspective. The second is from Matilda's, the wife's perspective. I'm almost to the second part. The first part is really good. I really like the writing style. I find it harder to pick up from than my other books I have on this list because it's more, I don't want to say episodic, but more like a portrait of a fascinating relationship rather than a really intense plot. It's character driven, but not totally. The first few chapters really took off with a bang and I was hooked. Next, The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. This is about a boy who's 13. He loses his mother in an accident. I didn't know going into this, so I won't tell you what the accident was. The characterization of the main character, Theo, is so good. I'm only 100 pages in, so not very far in, but so far I'm really attached to this character. It's really dense, beautiful writing, like the way she describes the rooms that he walks into and experiences, especially the antique store. Good book. My last book is actually my favorite at the moment, is Beartown. I started this like a couple weeks ago and I'm a really slow reader. I'm halfway through already and that's really fast for me. I know it would be really slow for other people, but for me that's really speedy. This is about a hockey team. The town is down on the luck, unemployment, bad economy, etc. And the junior hockey team of the town in Michigan is called Beartown. The junior team makes it to the semifinals, and if they win, the town is hoping that it'll attract businesses, commercialization, and just all around bring money back into the town and revigorate their economy. But on the night of the semifinal game, something happens. Hockey players hurt someone, and that act of violence reverberates through the town. It tackles all the perspectives of the townspeople and shows how everybody's affected. And it's extremely empathetic, extremely heart-wrenchingly realistic. It has humor, but the humor is never at the expense of drama. The characters are forefront. Frederick Buckman, I loved his writing, and as soon as I'm finished with this one, I'm hopefully gonna pick up more of his stuff. That was my dysfunctional reading list. I hope you enjoyed these kind of scatterbrain thoughts. I had a really good time filming this, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.